Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another scene set in Edessa, the Dark Crusade, Season 2, as we set our sights upon the burgeoning carnival just outside the city walls. Tonight is a night where the city streets have thinned out and are curiously empty, all heading towards one point, one glorious destination. A great bonfire of lights, voices, activities, song, performances, and horse riding. Carnival has recently arrived to Edessa, forming up with a band of caravanners who have been there just under a mile outside the Salubri domain. And boy, are they putting on a show. There are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people here, even thousands. There are large pointed carnival tents. There are kids playing games on the grounds. There are minstrels displaying their talents, competing with others. Some coordinating in a great cacophony of noise. There are more dubious games at play. There is gambling. There is also, and the activities these gambling events are based on are perhaps, well, they're familiar to some, but not exactly ethical in the modern day, shall we say. Large mastiff dogs fighting exotic animals, bulls, lions, other larger predators. There's even one involving a captured wolf. The mastiff is expected to win that one. There's also the more standard affair of card games, jugglers, tumblers, dancers. Less dubious, yet still fun to behold. Many of these more coordinated activities, such as dances, are pulling in the public into their performances, so that everyone might have a good time. This is very much an event that, despite its perhaps seedier underside, it seems to be genuinely well based in the well placed aspect of fun and goodness, displaying the more positive aspects of humanity and positivity. I'd like to ask, where is everybody around this carnival? Apart from one particular horse rider who we shall get to last. Where is Oktar right now? Why is he at this carnival? You're muted, Oktar.
I think you basically poked to one player that is, not.
I hate you, Oktar.
Right here.
Irene, why are you at this carnival this evening?
God damn it. Well, she is with Oktar because, well, she heard of this carnival. She is excited to go there, but clearly her, well, best daddy in the world didn't think that simply a ghoul would be enough to keep Irene out of trouble, so she and Oktar arrived there together.
No.
Oktar may not be as happy as Irene is, but Irene is looking everywhere.
Have his sheriff. babysitting his own child.
I mean, you say this.
I mean, he has a small army of ghouls, but a Cainite is worth more than a small army of ghouls, in theory. But you do come from the same place, and you've dragged out Oktar. Come on, Uncle, and we've dragged him out to gaze upon the festivities. Oktar is probably here out of his own curious desires. Why is Margot here, and where is she during all of this?
Margot is here because, hey, look, carnival, people, fun. Put on a little, you can see nothing too fancy, especially for one of her standing. But still, she found a mask, put on some fancy clothes, something black and gold. It's always pretty. And she'll just go to enjoy herself, see what's happening, and she thinks there might be some traveling vampires there in the carnival. Probably some of the people that set this whole thing up. So she's smiling, enjoying herself as her usual, very friendly, very enthusiastic smile.
Okay. Would you like to make me a perception awareness roll, please? So you go through the carnival. You could probably pass one of the performers.
And alertness, you said?
Awareness.
Okay. Oh, awareness, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think the same dice pool. Yes, it's the same dice pool. Since I'm pretty sure this is something I don't know about, I can't activate, what's it called? Aspects on it.
You can. You would be immediately overstimulated by the intense noise and visual displays around you.
Oh, yes. True. Good point. So, yeah. No.
Which would negate the advantages and make you lose dice to roll.
Well, look at that.
Okay, well, you get 4 successes. You see a familiar shadow flicker from above. A pointed lit tail dart around the corner. The thing that continually pesters, follows, and harasses you every other evening is nearby. It seems to have shut itself off from the perceptions of mortals, but it is here.
I'll sigh. And you just smile at it. The usual smile that just says, I know you're here.
Mr. Garnet, for what purpose have you travelled to the carnival?
Darling. Garnet is wandering amidst jugglers and all these people, just staring at various people, keeping himself so that he knows exactly who that little rider is. And he's more kind of just keeping an eye on things as he's complimenting people he thinks are at least semi-pretty. Yes, darling does intensify so often. But he's almost watching like a hawk coming through the crowds, and if people see him, he just greets them with a big, happy smile on his face.
Oh, the people love you. You're a very friendly and sociable fellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You have no problem moving through the crowds and making your way towards the particular staging area where the horse shows are going to be put on. There's a bunch of barriers put up, a bunch of hurdles and that sort of thing. Dagon!
Watch.
Oh yeah, sorry.
He just watched. fascination at all the pretty horses.
It's still, you still have a fair amount of time until it's set to start. Like, people are still kind of putting themselves on the stands, obviously. Payments being taken, but you have more than enough money to afford such a trivial cost.
He's walking through more than enough money.
Oh, Godosa. People treat you fairly well. However, Dagon, why are you here?
Dagon.
Area filled with mortals.
Dagon is basically, he's feeling himself, basically. He is covered in, like, basically his usual cloak, hiding his face and whatnot. So he is known as Dagon, the Demon Slayer, basically. And looking upon, inner monologuing, like, I am Dagon, the fearsome. And basically he's just, he'll grab a mask and put it on, making sure that the fellow mortals here are protected. So he's looking around, making sure nothing weird ain't let's say he's just basically just combing through the area, you know, just but it's staying in the shadows a little bit.
Some good old Nosferatu wet work. In which case, make me a perception awareness roll, please. This
none shall escape the sight of Dagon the Terrible. So whatever diff it is, what diff is it?
Oh, it's 6. You get 4 successes, which is more than enough. Yeah, you... It's hard to get a clear look, considering the sort of small size of what you kind of see. It's something you see kind of cut in and out of a couple of the tents. It's almost like a bird or a bat. There's a bit too like there's like a bat, of course, is made up of basically the head, like a tiny little torso, and wings largely. This thing doesn't really move like a bat. It looks a bit like a bat, but moves like a bird.
So it looks mutated.
Yeah, a mutated little creature that doesn't seem to be noticed by mortals, with a charred tail.
Dagon, my Dagon may have to put in some work. He will follow it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take you long for it to realize it seems to be following this this masked woman, i.e. Margot, with some degree of intent, but you're not sure if it's after her or if it serves her, or maybe both.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be following the winged creature, basically.
For whatever reason, no humans don't seem to notice it at all. But you know, well, you don't know, but you assume it might be somehow similar to Obfuscate. It is casting a shadow. Like, you're not seeing an illusion, or you know, you're actually seeing this, but no one seems to notice it for whatever reason. It doesn't make sound, it just seems to silently flutter through the air, and then just circles and hovers around Margot for brief moments. She looks up and sees it, just seems to smile at it knowingly.
This is intriguing.
We'll get right back to it as soon as we cover Nina. I believe you've got a Hosho. Don't you give me the silent treatment, madam.
And she just got a phone call.
I hate you. I hate all of you.
Well, and you. Jesus.
Back to Dagon. Yes, so, please tell me Nelson's here. Nelson.
Here, I'm
Fantastic. Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, so, Dagon, do you have Obfuscate up right now? Or are you just kind of,
He's just
following?
keeping to the shadows and just watching this thing, basically.
Okay. Okay, you're going to keep to the shadows and watch it. Okay, so I assume you're following Maru because it seems to be following her.
Yeah.
Okay, in which case, can you make me a quick dex stealth roll? And Margot, you roll perception alertness. And someone else will roll something as well.
Two successes.
Okay.
Just waiting for my roll to appear. So what's different?
Diff is standard, so 6. Okay, so you get
So
2, 3, 4, 2, and I got 3. Okay, so you're not really noticed, at least by Margot and whatever is following her. Obviously, you can't avoid everyone. On in the carnival, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people around the tents, in between the tents, outside the tents, inside the tents. It's just kind of impossible to hide from everyone. So there are models that notice you and kind of give you like the massive like stink eyes in. What the fuck are you doing? Look, but don't really seem interested in interfering with you, considering you're like 2 foot higher than them. They just kind of keep to their own business and pretend you're not there. But you know the stares they give you are not friendly or accommodating.
yeah, when they do that, he just gonna give them a look like just like to shoo them off.
Yeah, they give you like this sort of this look of like absolute disgust. They're just like, oh fuck, let's get out of here. And they just it's a sort of disease to them. The life and struggle of a Nosferatu, perhaps in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you're at least able to follow your target without your target spotting you. Margot heading to the horse show?
Yes.
Awesome. Now we can go back to Mina. Mina. You have a horse show.
I do.
You still have a few minutes until you start. So, to give you a setup, you've got one large, basically,
Isn't just a riding ring?
it's a riding ring with, it's a kind of it's essentially a temporary riding ring. With some hurdles. There's a ramp with a very large hoop.
Fabulous.
And certain watery obstacles, effectively trenches filled with water.
She has been practicing with the
But-
particular horse that she is riding, so they've
Yeah.
probably got a pretty steady routine.
Yep. The horse isn't scared of you, which helps. There are two very large tents. The first one is the one that actually leads into the riding ring. It's higher than it is wide. The other one is basically where you've been, which has basically been completely outside the riding ring, behind the tent. That is where you pull. That is where the horses come in, or the horse riders come in for their performances, and where you've been able to prepare, where you've been temporarily employed, with no questions asked, side-eye. You've been given kind of a space to kind of get yourself in the zone, to prepare yourself, dress yourself whatever attire you might feel is appropriate. You've been given a mask if you wish to conceal your identity.
I do. And presuming that this has been set up for a good bit before it was actually opened, she will have not only practiced at home at the stables, but will have come here and actually run the horse through the course a couple times,
Yeah,
so that it understands what the pattern is.
Yeah. They came in with the expectation that you would more or less be able to do whatever they asked you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the routine is. You also know what's going to happen to that hoop at some point.
Oh, that doesn't make me happy.
No. But you are aware.
Forewarning is nice.
It's nice. And it's about only that.
I don't love you anymore. I just want you to know.
It's fine. I can relish in level hate. You've got about 5 minutes. Your target, Brahim's actually been around backstage, kind of talking to some of the other riders, the sort of, not ringmaster, but the guy who's kind of commentating for everyone. He actually speaks quite, not loudly, but very clearly.
Can she sit back and have eyes and ears on him kind of subtly while she's doing last second brush up on the horse to make sure he just glows?
He does glow. It's quite, yeah, it's a lot quieter in the tent. Yeah, you can listen in on their conversation of all specs. It's not too hard. It's largely an exchange of pleasantries. But as your dear friend has told you, the man has a very difficult time smiling. He seems to talk in a tone that sounds pleased, but his face is just like stuck in perpetual gloom and rigidity.
Ew.
They seem to be talking about a way they could perhaps make the show a little bit more interesting. Seems like Raheem's seen this routine before, and it's not as interesting to him.
Really? How complex is this routine? I assume it's just the kind of standard, like go over jumps, go over hurdles, stand, do various stunts.
Hurdles, stand, stunts. Raheem seems to be proposing some sort of more interesting finale that involves the hoop.
Well, you said I've been warned about the hoop. Yes?
The hoop, yes.
More interesting than what they're already planning to do with it?
They kind of think on the idea and then briefly asks, Raheem briefly asks if any of the riders he seems to imply effectively. He asks if any of them are perhaps particularly limber But he seems to be implying as to whether any of them possess any acrobatic ability. Of course, the ringmaster's like, I don't know, we've never had him do that.
Is this a conversation that I can just casually happen past and ever so casually happen to hear?
Oh yeah, you can be listening from quite a distance because it's more quiet in the tents and you have heightened hearing. This seems to only accentuate the man Zagloon, Raheem Zagloon, who is looking for more of a show than just a standard routine. It's the biggest show of the year. What are you doing? Do I look like a peasant? Come on. I'm not giving you this. I'm not funding you to put on a failure. Give me something interesting. And he just kind of haphazardly hangs the ringmaster to what effectively be torches. And just tells him, have the riders run through the hoop with this. They're gonna light both when they go through the hoop.
They're gonna what?
They're gonna light a bunch of torches as they go through the hoop.
Delightful.
It's gonna be great. Which means also, for the record, the riders are going to be doing that particular trick without hands. Ringmaster does doff to protest, but Raheem shuts him down.
So I'm going to, again, ever so casually, since I have a little time, take my clothes and, get my little privacy screen, and I'm dousing that shit and wringing it out so it's all damp. And then redonning it. It may not be quite as airy. It may not be quite as flowy. It's still wringing out the better part of the water, so it's only damp, but it should be enough to avert some tragedy.
Yes, I'm sure. You got it. Thumbs up. Yes.
I'm still trying to understand what you mean by taking the torch while riding and not having hands available to hold them, but we'll figure it out.
I'm sure Mina will figure out how to ride a horse without having her hands available because she'll be holding the torches.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. That's why she took him through the course previously. Got this.
Well, nothing else. You are prepared.
So happy. And yeah, I will, in fact, especially before the show, be pumping 2 blood into Dex. That can just stay there.
Yep, that is absolutely fine. No problem at all. Now, everyone begins to take their seat as the show is about to begin. Margot, you're able to make it into the stands just fine. Mina, you see Raheem leaving. And you see that he's kind of entering like a sort of private entrance. Like there's no door, there's just a bunch of guards there guarding sort of the open areas, like sort of in between the tent where the horses are drawn through into the riding ring and the actual stands themselves. There's a few guards there. The main sort of entrance, everyone else is able to get into just fine. Margot and Garnet, you are in a premier seating. You probably have your own little private kind of viewing tent.
Wonderful, darling. Even better.
Yeah, it's a lovely little viewing tent. It gives both of you the perfect view. It provides you shelter from the sort of from the chilly air. It is there have been light drizzles today, so even better. And yeah, it's very shall we say upper crust. have your own little private quarters. The rest of the peasants are out on the stands, kind of ready, waiting.
Can I sneak into the VIP section, basically?
I was gonna say so I don't think you actually have resources, do you? You don't have money, I don't think. No. So yeah, if you were to walk up, you would be rejected. Of course. You can attempt to sneak in. There are basically 3 different entrances. There's the one main entrance, and then there's 2 areas that are sort of on the other end of the area. It's of the sort of riding ring. It's basically the 2 little gaps in between the tent and the stands themselves, like this sort of little opening. Because obviously they don't have like gates or anything. You know, it's not a theme park. It's a temporary setup. So it's open areas where you can kind of just walk in. But there are a bunch of like hide guards there.
To see if I can basically finagle my way to the area and try to see if I could become a part of the show.
You want to become part of the show? You should have talked to the ringmaster like a week ago. They'd have been glad to have you on. Who do you go to talk to be a part of the show?
You know what?
Oh, pardon?
You say basically, my bad. My mic was cutting in and out.
Oh, yes, that's no problem. So sorry, who do you talk to again?
Basically, he's going to try and see if he can be a part of the show, basically.
Okay. How do you go about being a part of the show? Do you intend to... Do you just kind of gate crash your way onto the stage? Are you going to steal a horse? Are you just going to ask someone if you can be a part of the show?
Yeah, he's just going to ask someone.
Okay. I assume you're just gonna talk to the guy who's like taking money at the entrance, because there's no one else really there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's gonna do that.
He's a sort of he's kind of a heavily robed, kind of basic peasant robes, but like heavily robed, taking coin, counting rather carefully, being quite courteous to the rest of the guests. See you walk up. He sees you. You're heavily veiled, so he can't see your face at all. Of course, if he did, it would be a massive reach. But he kind of stares at your just gigantic frame and says, "Hello, sir. Will you? There's an entrance fee. Just a few coins. Just no problem."
I do not wish to pay entry fee. I wish to be a part of your show as a strong man.
Sir, this is a riding ring. No. We do not have strong men here. I think you may be in the looking for the. He kind of stops and just looks like rapidly, as in like, oh my god, that tent over there, I think covers strong men. Yes. Flagrantly bullshitting.
I do know how to ride a horse.
If you wanted to be a part of the show, then perhaps you should have talking to talk to our organizer before this. The show is already happening. I am simply here to take coin. I cannot do this thing for you, sir.
You wouldn't mind me being a part of the show, then? He'll just basically kind of, get his face a little bit. Not like me, just like,
No, sir. What I'm saying is that we very much mind you being a part of the show. I cannot make you a part of the show, and I am fairly certain that the show is already on the road, so to speak. Look, the riders are already coming out.
Rider.
He stops. Yes, this is a riders' ring. This is a horse show. The horse riders ride horses for the audience. They do tricks. It is very entertaining. Would you like to pay for a seat?
Have no coin for no seat.
Well, then get out of here! He like tries to shoo you away.
May I have entrance?
Do you have coin?
He's gonna make an intimidation roll, basically, to ask for entry.
Just to remind you,
Huh?
Daryl's character gave you coin in that other scene, and Monk Nos made you take it. Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My bad.
The coin.
To dig in his crotch area and take out a coin.
There is just the narrowest of eyes. The narrowest. The narrowest eyes. You're pretty sure his eyes are closed at this point. Just
Do you take coin?
coin. He'll put it in the coin purse, and then he will step to one side and just stay there until you go in to one of the stands.
He'll just start cackling and just walk in there.
Hello, madam. Would you? Yes, just a few copper coins. It's no problem. And he just gets back to his normal business, pretending as if that interaction had never happened. You have, however, largely lost Margot because she was able to enter this place without issue, and you kind of got stuck at the main entrance negotiating how to get in, negotiating entry with the sort of with the toll keeper, as it were, the troll that guards the bridge to this wondrous establishment. And yeah, you're able to take a seat. I'm not really sure where Margot went. You're not really sure where your impish quarry went either. Also, yeah, just quick note to people. Yeah, unless you have resources 4+, you would be considered to, you would not be allowed weapons here. Or if you have noble influence, you'd be allowed to have weapons here. If you do not have one of those two prerequisites, pardon? Yeah, if you've got resources 4 or nobility influence, then you would be permitted weaponry. Or you could use your noble influence to just kind of passively have weaponry in this area. But of course, commoners are not allowed to have weapons. But yes, Dagon is able to take a seat. He is massive. The frame of the seating area buckles slightly under Dagon's enormous frame. The two people who are just next to him kind of are forced to just shuffle, and they're just kind of pushed up against other people just because Dagon is fucking huge and he sticks out like a sore thumb. It doesn't help that he's like in these incredibly big, thick robes. Like everyone sees him. You don't see his face, but there is just this abnormally like a veiled person with these thick, heavy robes that just stands at like 7 foot tall.
As long as he's not blocking Margaret's view, she doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, you're off in your little, both you and Garnet are off in your respective little booths, having a whale of a time. It's lovely.
We're nobility, darling. You know, as we're sitting away from everybody.
Yeah, you're basically in this stands, and then it like the top of the stands. There's basically an even higher kind of set up bunches, like an even higher kind of set of stands with kind of the tents and stuff, and even a small table, like a long kind of table that spreads across the entire tent. There are also like the miniature like booths like around these, like on the left and right edges of these. So if you really want to be alone, you could have picked one of those instead.
Wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful. Yes, if you're in the same tent as Margot, then you do see Margot, and likewise Margot, you'd see Garnet. If of course you want to introduce yourselves to each other.
Garnet will just plonk himself down in the seat and just give her that beaming smile. Margot, darling.
Yeah. She'll smile back. Ah, Garnet. Good to see you again.
Well, I always do appear for the fine occasions. He's looking out over the people getting ready.
Yeah. Sure. Most people have taken their seats at this point. The ringmaster's out. He's getting the crowd hyped up. He says you're here for a show, and he's going to give you a show. And he puts a lit torch to the hoop, and it is lit aflame. It's actually a very large hoop. It's not like it has to fit a freaking horse rider through it, so it's very, very large. There's this tiny little ramp that kind of helps you kind of quickly jump up to it. It's almost like a pedestal for the horse to jump through in a way. And he also kind of announces that these riders, they will not just be passing through the hoop, but they'll be doing it without hands. They'll be lighting their own torches through the hoop, and each kind of, if you could cut up this riding ring into quarters, each quarter of a riding ring has these little these metal rings, effectively for the riders to put these lit torches in. There's two in each quarter of the circle, so you'll probably be having 8 riders, or maybe they're only expecting 8 successes. Actually, no, they're going to be expecting 4 riders. Sorry, because 2 torches.
4 riders.
4 successes. Wonderful. 4 successes are estimated.
Wonderful.
Margot smiles at what is going on in front of her.
Yeah,
and still looking at the show, but speaking to Garnet, she'll say, "How exciting! Look at the expression on their faces, the performers. They have something prepared."
Indeed. Wonder what it would be as Garnet is staring at one of the riders like, which one do I pick? He's like eeny meeny almost with his eyes.
Yeah. The horse riders begin to roll out onto the stage. This means, Mina, you got to get moving.
Of course.
And a bunch of riders in about half a dozen, including a rather familiar-looking Mina. Of course, she's masked, unless you know that Mina is going to be here. You didn't know.
Oh, I know. I even know what horse she's riding because I was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's because it's the one he gave me.
Exactly.
My baby.
The show pony is out and about.
Oh yeah, no. I know exactly where she is. But I'm just looking at the other ones. I'll play my games in a minute.
Oh boy. But yeah, that means she is up and riding and out.
Oh yes. and out you are. They have all the Master has the riders all kind of parade around like the ring as if to show off like, oh, this is the Great Silent Wind. They give all their stage names. This is Golden Sash. This is Tag Boy. We don't know why they called him Tag Boy.
So are these riders like passing through the hoops, or have they started doing that yet?
No, they're just running. They're just prancing around the ring right now, as if for basically to introduce themselves to their audience. And although even the one that stands out to you, or the one that you're very very aware of, is La Adila.
Yes. Just rub his chin, looking at the other people, watching to see who's the most nervous apart from darling Nina. Because there's fire involved, and there's always nervousness in fire.
The one that seems most nervous is probably Tag Boy. They don't look particularly confident in their abilities. Not even remotely. The much bolder perhaps the boldest rider next to Laladila is one that simply calls itself Leon.
Wonderful. Grin.
The rider appears again. Is wearing a mask, but looks a bit more. Almost looks like a fancy knight in shining armor, almost to a comical level. You got the little what do you call them? The head feathers.
Can I come back?
Yeah, you got a checkered tabard that runs all the way down the man's kind of heavily plated armor. The horse itself is very large. Oh, Torna, I was just going over Leon. The horse that this individual.
Wait a second, he probably can't hear until you see his overlay pop up.
There you go. Okay, perfect.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. We're just going over the horse that Leon is riding. Very, very large, muscular, bulky horse. Like bulky, like probably the largest horse here. Like probably weighs the most. Not overweight, but is very bulky. Quite large. Kind of got a little big saddle with a metal rim. The rider is like a comical knight in shining armor with a sort of knightly kind of head sash for tail feathers. A big old blue and white checkered tabard that just runs all the way down, like so far down that you're concerned that the horse might trip itself up as it were to gallop and prance around. And a great cape. Great white cape. The only insignia, the coat of arms on this cape, is simply a triangle with 3 eyes. You can all roll Cainite lore as you see that.
Roll what?
Everyone roll Cainite lore as you see the cape with the coat of arms of the triangle on the front.
I shall. Intelligence or wits?
Intelligence, Cainite lore. La Adia.
Depending on the diff, I got 2. I got 1, and I got a 9 or an 8.
Okay, so difficulty is just 6.
Then I got 2 success. Yeah, not 8 and a 7.
Okay, anyone with a 6. Okay, Margot, you've definitely seen that insignia before, although it's hard to remember where from. It's from a long time ago, but you're not sure where from. Anyone with 2 successes or above recalls that is the clan insignia of, well, the insignia of quote clan Salubri.
No, I'm in friendly territory then. Good.
Yep. Don't worry, Oktar. This one isn't from you. It's not looking to kill you. But yes. The horses prance around, and it is Mina's turn to. She is the one. It is her turn to prance around. Like you see her kind of right on by past the audience. Obviously, you're on really high up stands, so you don't really get a chance to really you can't like do like some sort of like high five motion, like high five where she goes around, because you're not like at the front of the stands, you're at the back. You're on an elevated kind of platform with a tent over it. Mina, however, you see someone who does, as you kind of, do you put your hand out for the audience?
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, man, they love it. They love it.
She'll do the dramatic sway off to one side, have him just a touch in so that it puts her pointedly just that teeny bit off balance. Presuming this wasn't, her stunt saddle and her horse.
Off balance, you say?
Just to play around. She's essentially got the stunt saddle has various loops and hooks and whatnot, and it places for her to hook her feet.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks very much like she is swaying kind of dramatically off balance to do so, but no, she's got a foot hooked in right over here and no big.
She's the lovely art of conning the crowd. But yeah, many of them put their hands out for you as you just kind of skim on through them. Some even put their hands out to like touch the horse as it goes by. But then you notice someone who just literally almost as if he were tagging you out of the ring itself. Claps his hand against yours, as if to high five you very enthusiastically. Which, speaking of which, his presence around the horse riles it. Can you please make me a dex ride roll, difficulty 5?
I was gonna say, do I get any Benny to it being like my horse and a fairly easy ride?
It's a very easy ride. It's only momentarily startled because of this Cainite's presence.
Diff 5?
It's only diff 5, yeah.
Oh, wait.
If you feel you don't deserve to be in the ring, madam.
I do not fail this roll.
It's so the transition is so smooth that no one actually even notices the horse was surprised, and you don't even change your posture. You're just able to continue riding through.
Tisk.
Yeah. And then comes time for the show, and I'm just going to roll a bunch of D10 really quick. Okay, that guy doesn't do too badly. Wow, all of these people are doing fucking fantastic.
What the fuck? Stop taking my good dice.
Okay, that guy sucks. That's Tag Boy. You can see Tag Boy's performance is really quite something. And next up is Leon, the second from last performance. So quickly look up a character sheet. Okay, so he doesn't actually have. That's pretty funny. Wow, he has a really good dice on this. Okay, he gets 3 successes. He puts on a good show. Better than everyone else so far, even though someone rolled a freaking 9 on their random chance dice. The effort is put in by this gentleman. Perhaps it's the sort of flair of their outfit. The sort of gauche postures and gestures that they display towards the crowd. The very hammy performance that is put on as they prance around, jumping over hurdles, over water-filled trenches, prance around with a few tricks. He waves to the crowd. He seems to be loving this. And then comes the flaming hoop. Somehow, with 2 hands, not even a blink, this man flies through the hoop, unsheathes these torches as if they were swords, and just, in some sort of curving, slashing motion, swirls them through the hoop, catching the flame as he goes through the hoop with his horse. Lands perfectly. He doesn't even put his hands back on the reins as he lands, and simply guides the horse with the movement of his legs and feet, and puts 2 of these lit torches in their slots. The first of the evening, because if any of these mortals wanted to do it, they'd need to roll a 10, and they didn't. The other performances were fairly good, but lackluster. The guy who rolled a 9 actually managed to get a torch, but couldn't get a second one. Fortunately, he was the first performance, so he didn't get too much of a negative display. They kind of got the golf clap you tried. The other guy also puts on a good display, but doesn't actually catch any torches, and gets kind of a big old boo. Boo, you suck. We didn't come here so you could fail. Not in such a lackluster fashion. And then Tag Boy comes in and falls at the first trench. And they laugh. And they laugh. And they laugh. And people are finally having a good time. Now they remember why they paid to come here.
Now, how am I supposed to follow that up? Darn.
It's before Leon. I just did it out of order because I'm bad. But now it is time for you to follow up to the fantastic display of Leon. Perhaps the best performance of the entire evening. Truly
I will.
display of skill and talent. And beauty.
Still diff 5?
He's absolutely magnificent. No, this one is diff 6. So this is for you to make your way around the course. Not the hoop, just every other part of the course but the hoop. The hoop is the last part of the course.
Okay.
It's a diff 6.
Son of a bitch.
Okay. Well, you don't fall off your horse. You manage to do all the tricks. You manage to jump over the hurdles. But Guy, you're disappointed. You didn't give her a horse. You didn't give her a horse for this sort of show. This is the bare minimum. This is.
Yep.
This is. What even is this? You could get a. You could get a squire on this sort of show.
Yeah, I'm sitting here judging from on my high position, like, darling, 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 watching, shaking my head.
Margot, Tag Boy was better than this. I mean, he fell on his ass so much that it didn't really matter, but at least he was entertaining. This is just mediocrity.
Yeah. Short sigh. I'm just keep looking.
It is still a show. She doesn't fall over. She doesn't do atrociously. She does about as well as the guy who rolled a 7. All right, entertaining enough. Entertaining enough. They're not terrible. But Mina, you can do better.
I do know I can do better.
It's people are a little bit disappointed that you're not living up to the hype. Like you look so dashing and enrapturing when you pranced around that ring.
Is there anyone going after me?
And now they just seem to be falling out. Pardon?
Is there anyone riding through after me?
No, you're the last act.
Which means that I can deviate from script.
Yes, you can. If you want to make a second riding roll, difficulty 8, you may do so.
To do what I want to do or not. Fuck it. I can see her directly, so what Garnet is going to do is, you know what, he's going to be nice because, you know what, his sister makes him look good, and in my rogue nature, if I look good, everybody's happy.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to try use Dementation 1 to up her more risky behavior, that type of thing. It's remove that kind of nervosity from her, so she takes more risks.
Triggering her derangement.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing.
Demeanor.
Yeah, I'm gonna try trigger it. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just check to see if you actually need to even roll for that. One quick moment. Yeah, you need to roll manipulation empathy against her road score.
Oh boy.
I think is it 5 or 6?
5, I believe.
Oh dear. This is why when I'm playing road score, kids. 2 successes.
2 successes.
Yeah, that keeps her going for the whole hour. So we'll say that lasts for basically the scene.
So I'm certainly going to do it, whether or not it's a good idea.
Yeah, you actually, I believe, because you are a sanguine, right?
She has voices.
You have voices. Okay. Voices.
Is he triggering her derangement, or is he just making her more thrill-seeky?
He's making her more thrill-seeky.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna make her.
For a second, I thought you were sanguine, and that would have absolutely have triggered your derangement. But,
Yes, it would have. No, fuck that.
Voices, no. Okay. Well, you're making her more excited. She's certainly going to have a better time.
But I will certainly do a second round, whether I'm meant to or not.
It inspired the second round, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Why would I not? And I'm spending willpower on the second round.
Excitement filling your every pore.
Oh yeah, she will get a lot more. Yeah, the second round being harder will represent her doing far more dangerous stunts because she loves doing them anyways.
You're gonna do some dangerous stunts. Here we go.
Yes. So simple.
You pleasing the crown, your successes will count for double here because you're taking life-risking stunts.
Hooray! I'm spending willpower because it won't fuck with my other roll.
Okay.
That is 4.
So, yeah, no, you totally blow everyone away. It looks like you gave everyone a false sense of security. Because they've been so kind of lax in their regards to your performance, like they've been so unexcited, the sudden change in how you begin riding your horse almost kind of shocks some people out of their chair. You begin, yeah, these extremely life-risking stunts. It's almost as if you're riding some sort of wild buck, as you just begin sort of galloping around the arena at high speed, just leaping over like double hurdles at the time, double hurdles at a time.
She will be doing things that involve like hooking a foot and hanging so far over that like She can brush a hand in the sand. She will be standing on the saddle during jumps. She gives 0 fucks.
Yep. You stand on the saddle. You do a handstand. You touch the sand as you ride around. You kind of, and then you just kind of throw it up into the air like some sort of mineral confetti. It's fucking glorious. Got it. This is the show you came to see.
Turns and looks over at Margot. Nothing to worry about at all, darling. Just gives this pleasant smile as he's standing up, clapping.
But there is one last thing.
And there is.
Young lady must do. The Hoop of Doom.
The Hoop of Doom.
Death's Door.
So
It is-
here's a question. Did they all only get 2 torches, or could she have requested more?
You could have requested more.
She did, in fact.
Okay. How
Because
many?
if they, how are they small enough that she could like hold one in either hand fairly normally and pinch the other between her other fingers?
You could probably catch 4.
Hot. Then yeah, she's gonna zip around for this hoop because she's all souped up on fuck thunder.
Okay. Make me first make me an immediate courage check, difficulty 6. No, you're demontated right now. It's difficulty 7. Oh, and you have initiate to the road, difficulty 8.
Wait, what? What?
Jesus Christ.
So this is the downside of demontation, in that
Yep.
level 1 passion invokes a 1 or 2 point penalty to frenzy checks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit.
Or virtual rolls in general. And this is a virtue roll and a frenzy check. So yep.
Let's do this, buddy.
And,
Oh
Now,
god. I assume you can't spend willpower on these types of things.
yeah, you can roll willpower to resist frenzy, yeah. Just keep in mind you're using up a lot of willpower.
Yeah, but I'm probably getting at least 1 back for willingly jumping through a fucking flaming hoop because Thrill Seeker.
This is true, you absolutely would get 1 back for Thrill Seeker.
Wrote it.
Do I need to like spend a willpower or like I've never fucked with courage rolls and
Holy
stuff.
Frenzy, or in this case, Rot Shrek, so effectively Fear Frenzy.
So first roll the courage and then the willpower
Roll-
comes in later.
So you can spend a willpower on any out of combat roll to get an automatic success that can only be negated by botch dice. So you can spend the willpower. You need to declare the willpower expenditure before you roll.
Oh yeah, I will always tag it in the roll. So
Yeah, but
there's
you're
no
not actually required to spend a willpower to just make the roll. The willpower is optional.
were I to fail the roll, would I then make a willpower check or spend a willpower or
No, you'd frenzy.
Oh, yeah, I'm spending. So I'm just going to put that on there. I didn't need to, but I did it anyways. I'm a fucking boss.
Okay, so yeah, with 4 successes, you marshal your willpower and brazenly fly through this flame. Make me a dex ride roll, difficulty 8. No, you're using 4 torches. Difficulty 9, please.
What? You're being an
Using 4
ass now.
torches, madam.
I mean, no hands is diff 8. What does it matter how many torches there are? I'm just saying.
You need to get all 4 to catch a light.
Damn it!
you can do it! Margot believes in you.
Can.
Roll it.
I'm just
Roll it.
debating how
Do it!
bad I want it.
Do it, you baby!
Oh, I'm gonna do it either way. It's just the debate of whether or not to be like, I didn't need willpower anyways. Fuck my life.
I'm blowing willpower on everything. You need willpower.
I am a baby. It's diff 9. Fine. Fine. If I botch, I'm blaming you, Torna.
Oh, she makes it! She makes it. Isn't that... So, this is glorious. What you guys see? Mina stands. She stands, holds up the torches, and flies through the hoop. She lands, and as she lands, promptly, almost pretty roughly, but Mina, you managed to make it look like it was intentional, like it was purpose. You kind of slide back into your saddle. Or that's what it looks like to everyone else. Mina, you realize that kind of hurt because you literally basically fell back into your saddle, like pretty hard.
Elbows are for losers.
But to everyone else, they're like, yes! La dia, la dia, la dia.
I will promptly.
Wild Spanish music.
Yes.
Those lutes are as on fire as you.
Yeah, Marco. Seeing that with that good mixture of self-control 5 and Dex 5, she does get up. She just doesn't get up like the crowd, like kind of a bit what's the word? Lacking of any real class or anything. Yeah, the way she does it is still very great.
Really
as she gets up, claps at the performer.
I get the golf clap. So polite.
So lovely. Margot, could you please make me a perception alertness check, please?
Yes, I will.
What's that silly little bugger gonna do?
As Nina flies through the hoop and lands.
3 successes. If diff is 6.
The diff is 6. Okay, Garnet, and Margot, you realise that you're sat like basically next to each other. And Garnet, you realise you kind of smell. You kind of smell smoke, but it feels like it's closer than it actually is to you, and kind of a rising heat near your feet. Margaret, you feel the same because you're next to each other.
Garnet's like, what is this ghastly smell? That type of thing.
At the smoke.
He like immediately stand up out of the chair.
Yeah. You're are you wearing robes or trousers?
I'm wearing trousers.
Okay, yeah, your trousers are on fire. Margot, your dress is on fire.
Oh.
Can you make me courage rolls? Difficulty 5 real quick. Normally it'd be diff 4, but the flame is literally on your clothes, so it's like 5 because of proximity.
I must spend that willpower because you never know what fucking courage rolls you get.
Courage.
Yes, courage, diff 5.
Oh, 5 successes for me. I spent a willpower as well. So.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Garnet, you're not really bothered and quickly get to work trying to stamp out the flame. Of course, some of the trousers are a little bit tricky.
My trousers, darling.
Anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Okay, both of you are fine. You're able to kind of shove. Margot, you visualize your beast within a cage and shove it into the cage. Garnet, you visualize riding like a wild horse because, darling.
I am my own beast.
You am. You'll ride that frenzy, babe. What do you do to put out the fire?
I will do the classic stop, drop, and roll on myself first. Obviously, like immediately, like slap my hands away, and we'll immediately. Is it spreading from where we are, or is it just concentrated on where we were sitting?
It's concentrated in your clothes. It doesn't seem to have an origin point on the ground.
And I'm assuming there's water and all that around us as well, like that sort of thing.
There is wine and water for you to drink from, yes.
I will not throw wine on myself because that's a bad idea. I will immediately begin like reaching over and grabbing various bowls of water and just pouring it on myself, carefully avoiding the wine because that will just be dandy and hilarious.
That was
Yeah, same. Looking for water dining.
People are a bit surprised, other people of standing kind of rise up from their chairs, and there's kind of the sort of synchronetic gasp of nobles who are surprised that you are lit aflame. And Yes, Margot, what do you do to put out the fire?
Yeah, sure.
He's currently rolling on the ground and pouring water on himself. It's a bit of an embarrassing sight, but you know, you do what you must.
I am on fire.
You're on fire.
Yeah, sure. Reaching for water to like pour on her dress.
Okay. Okay, you'll both be able to put out the flames, no problem. Particularly with like 4+ successes on your courage roll. You kind of you stop, and a fairly unamused-looking man walks up to you, a level of eerie calmness, and yet also a hint of suspicion on his face. But you're not sure why. He walks up to the both of you and just says, "Good sir, my lady, are you quite all right?"
Yes, there seems to be a bit of, well, I'm not quite sure. We looked down and my lady and I were, well, cast aflame, unfortunately. He'll put his hand on his heart. You look over at Margot and like take her hand. Are you all right, my dear?
She'll smile, look at her dress. A very, charming smile on that radiant face of hers. Ah, yes. I'm quite well. Unfortunately, I can't say so for my garment.
Well, that will not do at all, my darling. And he'll turn to the man very abruptly and keeping this like firm voice. I don't know, good sir. This place I was assured would be fire safety and regulated, and appears, well, to kind of like take a step away from the thing. It is not the case. Putting his hands on his hips, doing his sassiest pose.
Must have been a dropped candle. He kind of looks like suspicious, like he's investigating, but like, oh, he's really just tilting his head at like this crime scene.
Yeah, Garnet's kind of tilting his head as well, like, it must have been, like turns and looks at the crime scene as well.
Well. I suppose you can't change what just happened.
Unfortunately not. I think at least it was we were kept civilized. At least it's an awful incident. I'm afraid. He'll keep Margot close beside him so they look like they're together, type of thing. Like all part of the illusion, darling.
Yeah, Margot doesn't care. He's at 3. She's into that.
I'm up.
She'll even like.
Garnet's at 4. I'm really good.
Yeah, so yeah, she definitely goes into it.
But I believe if there is somewhere where we could perhaps, make sure that the young lady in particular, and I would put his arm around Margot, can clean herself up. After all, we don't want anything to be uncivilized here now. Oh.
I'm sure the owners of this fine establishment can procure you some compensation, madam. For the record, you have no idea who fucking owns this establishment at all.
Sorry, what is that?
For the record, you have
no idea who owns this
establishment. It might be the ringmaster. It's not, there's not really a label anywhere saying this belongs to this guy, this tent belongs to this person. So it's kind of all up in the air.
I certainly hope so. And she'll look down to her dress. It is not something I was looking forward to, having my clothes ruined.
Well, he'll put his hand on Margot's hand. Don't worry, darling. I'll make sure we get compensation for this. He'll turn to the man, and can I do an Auspex roll on him? Read the soul, I believe it's Auspex 2. I think it is perception, empathy, defate. I'm not sure.
Defate. If you have heightened senses on, it decreases difficulty by your Auspex dots because a level 2 ability, a level 2 power should not be difficulty 8. That's dumb.
Unfortunately, I do not have heightened senses, so it is defate for me, unfortunately.
Can't use your Auspex
here we
boost?
go.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, dude. Aspects 2 can be hit or miss anyway, so I don't see anything.
He just seems so. How to put it? It's not that he's
Bland.
Bland. He almost seems to. It's almost this aura of just sloth around him that just makes you not want to fucking bother. Like, it's just like this sort of combination of just disdain, suspicion, laziness, and
Hmm.
patronization. Arrogance, but just from like almost as if it's like being like as if everything around him is just not worth his time.
Yeah, Garnet even just slouches and looks over at Margot. I suppose, darling, we shall go and speak to the perhaps no in your enlightened state, good sir. Garnet's even voice goes almost like drower as well, like this gentleman.
I couldn't possibly tell you, I'm afraid. I'm a new attendant myself. He's fucking lying out of his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna try read the fuck out of that statement.
He's probably pretty good. I'm actually gonna give him 6 dice because it's probably the one fucking thing he's good at. like he may be the most uncharismatic motherfucker, but although stopped, went into subterfuge.
Know how to lie.
Oh my god, he actually succeeds. What the shit?
Oh, barely. Oh man.
I mean,
A mortal would normally not be this good at lying, but he is literally just the one thing he's actually socially adept at. Oh yeah, Margot, you can roll perception empathy.
yeah, I would use would heightened senses work to see lies like that?
Yeah, you are next to a roaring crowd. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, true.
So you would be at grave risk of overstimulation. I won't say it will, because you know Margot would be aware of the risk, but wouldn't necessarily be sure if it would happen. She's aware of it's likely to. Okay, just roll on 5, and you get 3 successes as well. I mean,
damn, man.
He a man this bland couldn't possibly know. You're actually wondering how he even got up here. I mean, he looks dressed for the part, you guess, but I mean, yeah, he doesn't seem like he's connected to this place.
How entirely expected. Garnet would just nod to himself and smile. Well, link arms with her. We shall go and find the owner and see if we can bird's eye view of what we're dealing with in terms of compensation. And he'll turn and just walk off very arrogantly, like, yeah, whatever, you're boring. And they just like strut off, pulling Margot with him.
Just
Margot
had
still looking at him and giving him that guy that mum stare.
You swear you hear cracking of knuckles as you leave. But...
Yes, I did see walk because he's like, darling, just walks away.
Let's get out of here.
So yeah, Garnet and Margot will make their exit, and he'll be whispering to Margot as they're going along. A candle. It makes me immediately go serious.
This for me, I didn't hear what you said.
I can't hear half of what you're saying, Nelson.
Oh shit! There we go. What did Garnet say?
A candle in a very sarcastic tone, like dry as all hell.
Yeah. She'll look. Yeah, that was no candle.
We should take a look around, perhaps underneath where we were. Keep hidden. I don't know if the man upstairs, he probably is so inept he can't even see anyway, but it's better to be safe than sorry, darling. You start, making his way through the crowd, seeing where they can get underneath where that fucking fire went up under them.
Yeah, Margot follows. Look, well,
Okay. Well, if nothing, if the quote ringmaster, it's not really a ringmaster. If that particular gentleman doesn't know, isn't the owner, then you're pretty sure he could point you to who is.
Yeah, Garnet is. Garnet's going for that guy, probably keeping Margot alongside, striding through as arrogant as fucking ever. Because I'm Garnet, darling. You know.
Yeah, it's as the show kind of comes to that, and then Mina is prancing around. The show is technically still going on. In fact, you probably get calls for an encore, and Mina is able to do her thing and rouse up the crowd even more. It is an absolutely brilliant show, but eventually, all the good things must come to an end, and Mina's part in this little performance comes to a close as the show comes to a close. And the ringmaster comes on, and he says he hopes you all enjoyed the show. Only the finest horse riders ever get to be part of our. What do you call circus groups?
Troop.
Circus troop. Circus troops.
Yeah.
He would say troop. Only the finest horse riders have become part of our troop. And we're happy to showcase the absolute best in local talent along with our own most funnily read. And he wishes everyone a pleasant evening after the show comes to an end and the flaming hoop is finally put to rest, much to the relief of every Cainite in the area. And you, as you're walking around as the show ends, you walk out, Garnet and Margot. You see the ringmaster seems to be heading towards this back tent. In fact, roll me perception alertness real quick.
Do that.
Standard bit. Okay, you got 2 successes. Okay, you both see someone kind of. You don't get a good look at their face, but you see a sort of you see someone kind of prowling around the back into this large back tent where the horse riders are going to.
Give a raised eyebrow over at Margot.
Did you see? She'll look that way. OC, is there a possibility it's that thing that follows her?
You can make you can make another check to see if you can see it. You haven't seen it in a while.
Perception, alertness, or awareness? Well, it's the same. Same to me. Two successes again.
Okay. It's around, but it seems to keep darting out of your view.
No, but I mean the thing we saw just before that you said there was someone lurking around. It's not it.
Oh, it's not it. No. That thing is. You seem it's like on the edge of your peripheral vision. You can never get a good angle on it. Whenever you go around to look to find it, it seems to be in a different place. Like your eyes are constantly scattering. And Garnet, you see kind of her head like moving like in almost a slightly paranoid fashion as if she's looking for something that isn't there.
I'm not crazy, you're crazy, yeah! But yeah, I shall look towards where the person was. I still see that.
We should
Someone
keep quiet.
They shouldn't.
We should keep quiet then, darling. Why don't you take the lead? After all, you are far more aggressive. I think you are more suited to this task. And he'll give a sweet, innocent smile.
Yes, and she'll smile. And go towards the ringleader.
So
Okay.
while Margot is going off, how crowded are we as we're moving through everybody?
Things peter out pretty quickly as you enter the tent.
So before I enter, Garnet will do 1 look, 2 look, 3 look, and when Margot enters first, he stops, stands, obfuscate.
Okay.
Obfuscate 2.
You're going to obfuscate too. Well, that makes your life easy because you don't even have to pay to get in here. You can make your way past the guards. Absolutely fine. Margot, you're stopped because you know this is a private tent. This is what a horse riders. You know, this is the horse. This is the tent for the horse riders. You know, this is private premises. You know, you can't go past this point.
Yeah. She'll look at the guards. I wish to speak to the ringleader. Or the owner of this low troop.
Yeah, no, love, that's not happening.
Have you seen the state of my dress? I would have expected this place to be of this. I would have expected this whole venue to be fire safety, to have some kind of fire safety, and yet, and she'll just gesture her dress.
I've got a sword. You've got a pretty face.
So what was that?
I've got a sword. You've got a pretty face. Truly a mastercraft in debating.
Gonna look at those presents. Let me look at those presents things.
These people seem to give 0 fucks about your social standing.
How rude.
Indeed. Oh. Life is as it is, I suppose.
335. Wait.
What you doing?
Do something. Just
What power are you looking to use?
that's what I'm looking at. Dread Gauge would be breaching the veil, breaching the masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
There's entrancement.
You can use enchantment. Keep in mind it only works on one person, though.
Yeah.
Majesty is basically the souped-up version that affects everyone.
Majesty, yeah. Majesty is at 5. Shit, I have 4.
Yep, yeah, you don't have Majesty.
So, appearance. That should be 8 dice.
Oh, what are you trying to do? Appearance. Sorry, Nelson, what are you trying to do?
There's a look. Let me look at what I have. She's going to. Can she see the ringleader?
Not really. He's somewhere off in the tent somewhere. Like he walked off in there. Like you got there about a minute after, so he's gone. He's in there. He's in there. You know he's in there. It's a pretty big tent, so he could have like slipped off to another room. Might be talking to the other horse riders. You don't know. You know he's in there somewhere because you just got in there like a minute ago, but with the guards kind of holding you up, he's kind of shuffled off somewhere.
Empathy. I shall use. Look at the one of the guards. And empathy. ship. Should have 3 normally. I can't find it for some reason. Empathy 3, yes. Yeah, she'll look at one of the guards. I said let me through. As she'll deal with a mum voice kind of thing as she uses a transmit.
Okay. Difficulty, I think, is their willpower, which is low. So I'll let you know if you succeed.
Okay.
I usually make it. Okay, well, I mean, you've definitely got that one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. Yeah, one of the guys is his demeanor kind of shifts into like kind of awkward guilt. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sure. And then the other guy's like, oh, what are you doing? You rusted out the cave of red in a minute ago. What's wrong with you?
They're arguing, so she'll be like, okay, step, try to be like, step
You
aside.
You try step in, he grabs you by the shoulder.
So yeah. She'll look at him.
I'm not blind, love.
I would suggest you do the same as your friend. And fuck it, she'll do it again.
She'll do it again? Okay. Yep. Feel free to do it again. You can do it as many targets as you can afford.
And she's got 13 or 12 blood now, technically.
I mean, I think you got like 8 successes, so I think you've entranced him for like what, like 4 years? Yeah, that guy's been entranced for 4 fucking years. Let's see, 2, so yeah, 4 years. He immediately takes his hand off you. Like he doesn't. There is no argument at this point. Like the amount of emotional conflict going through his head right now just kind of causes him to kind of take his hands off, kind of spin away, like he'll kind of like shift away on his heels, and then just slowly walk the fuck away, where he can cry his heart out because he hates you, he loves you, and he doesn't know how this feels. He doesn't know how to feel about this. Yeah, the other one seems to. The other godhaver seems to kind of move with you. Seems to follow you.
Yeah, she'll smile at the one who just goes away into that just headspace. Probably done it. She's seen that happen before. And the one that there, she'll tap on his shoulder. Wait for me here, will you, darling?
Pardon, sorry?
She'll tap on the one that the other, like she just smiled at the one who left, and the one who's staying with her, she'll smile, tap his shoulder and smile. Stay here and wait for me, will you, darling?
I mean, there's some rough folks around here. I wouldn't want you to get caught out, is all.
Well, she'll smile. I guess a strong man like you could very well protect me very well. Yes, and she'll smile, and she'll make her way to the ringleader.
Yeah, ringleader's you walk up to the ringleader of an armed guard in tow who should be at his post.
Yeah, she'll just clear her. Know that
he takes you. He's in a chat. You go looking for him. So I guess we should switch to Mina real quick. Garnet, you've head start obviously because Margot's had to deal with the at the gate.
Of course, I'm just prancing around the tent and obfuscate the most sassily walk, looking for the ringmasters to jump to Mina.
Yeah. I would say if you want to, actually, I'll just have everyone make wits alertness roll to find who they're looking for, apart from Mina. So that's you and Garnet, you're looking for Mina. Margot, you're looking for the ringleader. The reason for this is basically just to speed up the whole process of you guys looking for dudes.
Diff is 6.
Yeah, it's not just diff. It's basically just you looking for someone
All
relevant.
6.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay. Garnet takes you a while to find Mina. Mina, in the meantime, you've been chatting with the other horse riders, and the absolutely lovely ringmaster, who gives you serious praise, off in the corner. One of the horse riders, the one with the kind of lavish suit of armor, takes off his helmet and tosses it to the side. He seems to be in a less than happy mood that you beat him at his own game.
Wonderful.
He's quite a gruff-looking fellow, not nearly as regal as his armor would suggest.
Oh, he looks delightful, and not at all like he holds a grudge.
Nope, he's not holding a grudge. He just glares at you. No, the ringmaster congratulates him, but you are the center of attention, my dear. You are the best rider the show has seen in years.
And yes, she'll be, ever so graceful in the face of the compliments. Flutter, as it were. And when she glances aside and sees the glare, she will purposefully misinterpret it and just give him a little wave. Just so chipper, like, "Oh, you're looking, hi," and then go back to talking.
He waves at him, and the eyes just narrow even further.
She just looks like a total ditz.
As the ringmaster tries to convince you to join his troop, because you are the best rider they've seen in years, and they could really use someone like you.
Oh, now she couldn't leave her brother all alone in this city. That would just be unthinkable.
As this is going on,
she is keeping the mask on, by the way.
Yeah, you hear you kid Raheem enter the area. That bland, gruff, rigid, emotionless face of just mild contempt. And the slightest smile when he sees you, because you're special.
So special, if only he knew.
Margot and Garnet. Garnet got a head start, but Margot got one extra success. So you'll be arriving in about a few minutes. However, Raheem comes up to me and just says, the freshest of talent.
Why, thank you. I hope I wasn't a disappointment. She's got her mouth covered, perhaps, but the smile still shows in her eyes.
I don't think you could disappoint me at all.
Dun dun dun. The plot thickens.
You certainly know how to keep your audience engaged. For the record, the ringmaster seems to have just completely started deferring to this guy. He just seems to back him up like some sort of stooge. Like, yeah, get him, Mars. Yeah, she's the best. Yeah, no, I'm better than this one.
And she's so flattered.
It's a shame to hear that you won't be joining this delightful gentleman and his troop. But perhaps We could share some words over dinner. Perhaps find you more accommodating employment. You certainly have the skill set.
Oh?
Oh, indeed.
I have been looking for work.
It is half a reason why we run this show. Find only the best and brightest and most daring.
Color me interested. I would love to hear what you have to offer.
Fantastic. I actually have my own tent set up here.
Oh.
You see. Perhaps we could guess. And we have a guest that will be attending, if it's quite all right. Sort of
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
a sort of, oh sorry, yeah, I'll have other guests attending, of course, if it's quite all right. A gathering for the best and brightest of this great event.
I am going to quickly. I can't remember for what was it. Read the soul. What's the dealio? And I will activate first level aspects first because it doesn't cost me anything to do it.
Yeah, you can. It's more quiet inside the tent. There's less people, and a lot of the other horse riders have kind of walked off on their own. A couple are sticking around for the sake of attention. I mean, the angry, glary horse riders just being a weird starer. But other than that, yeah. So there's no risk of overstimulation here. At least not. At least unless it be a sudden, like, deafening sound or.
Can you remind me what the role is?
A perception empathy.
And it's what, diff 6 with aspects activated?
Yeah.
Not D6, D10.
Nope.
Nothing!
Nothing on this guy. Man, this guy like masks his aura really well, apparently.
What a son of a bitch!
Or maybe my cavemen just suck at aspects.
How dare!
I do.
He did smile. So,
Cracked like a small smile. It's smaller.
I mean, as much as he smiles, anyways. So she'll kind of affect a pouting posture because again, she's keeping the face mask on, and she's still got her elaborate costume. Of course, she's having fun swanning around in it, clearly, but she still adopts like a posture and the slight little bow of head that conveys a pout when he says there will be company. Is there any response to it at all?
No. This man has no this man has no soul.
Well, that is awkward. It makes him no fun to play with.
He no, there is a slight response. It's yeah. He says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I know it's a difficult thing to accept. Particularly one I can only presuppose is always at the center of the spotlight."
I suppose I'll have to manage then, won't I? And
It's okay. No one likes to share.
she'll kind of glance about and just kind of gesture towards wherever the appropriate tent exit is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going there now? Would you show me the way?
Why wait? And yeah, he'll begin to lead you off into this small maze of tents. Garnet and Margot, you arrive at around the same time. You see Mina leaving with this guy, or at least leaving the area. So they have been in the kind of area, like a very spacious area where the horses are basically kept. Basically a quick chat with the basically everyone's having a quick chat in this area. The ringleader is there, the ringmaster, the host, the commentator, whatever you wish to call them. And yeah, this man is leaving with Mina, this same man who said he had no idea who owned this place. Maybe he doesn't. He could have just paid his way.
Oh, I'm sure he is, and if he's leaving with Mina, Garnet will activate his heightened senses as it's getting a bit quieter.
Mm-hmm.
He'll turn on his heel and begin to follow the man leading Mina. And you know what? I'm going to try read him again on the higher difficulty. Fuck it.
Yeah.
My suspicion is aroused.
You can you can roll it. But your Auspex, what level is your Auspex? 4, right?
4, yes.
So difficulty is increased by 2 for the roll, minus 4 for your Auspex level, which is 6.
Okay, lovely.
Heightened senses in Dark Ages reduces the difficulty by your Auspex level.
It's wow. I was not prepared. That is 2 successes.
Okay. You get a sense of his aura is bright. He is a human. But the only color you can discern from it is this sort of deep, still, just almost frozen. It's almost like it drags along his body and the surface of the ground. This deep lavender. It's where you could almost hear it scraping, like he's just carrying this great weight. It's which lavender represents conservative.
My.
And he takes Nina's arm because she's offering it.
Garnet will smile warmly and begin to follow along. Reading that he's a human, he's like, ha ha ha, bitch. He will be stood straight after him. Walking hands in the, very relaxed, very composed, very carefully, 1 step, 2 step, but watching just to see, just to make Mina make sure Mina does her job properly.
Sure. You are so Mina, I should ask, there are many spots throughout this little journey. It's not far, it's literally a minute's walk. But throughout the first couple of tent rooms you go through, there's not really anyone in these rooms. Neither, but when you get outside, there's quite a few people. Then he takes you round one of the kind of like an area, like almost like a tent alley. Like, you know, there's an area, like there's a small strip of space between 2 tents. Because he needs to get around those to take you to his own little area. And then there's a fairly large tent, not as big as the one you were just in, but that's mainly because, you know, there's animals in there. And it's like for a proper carnival act. His is more of an area where people can socialize. So it's a bit differently built and it's a bit smaller.
Well, here's the thing, is we're going to go through this delightfully empty tent. And he's just being so gentlemanly, walking arm in arm, so close to me, and I'm going to stab him in the kidney.
Oh, fucking Christ. Okay.
Well, you told me to kill him.
Fair.
Actually, I suppose I should go for the throat so the screaming is minimal, but I feel like there's a height difference here.
Yeah. There's a bit of a height difference. I mean, how small are you? You don't have a short flaw in it, much.
I don't have the short flaw. She's very slight, though. She's built like a gymnast, so there's not a lot of curve. There's not a ton of height.
Fair enough. Yeah, there is a little bit of a height distance. Like you're kind of just like you're just above his shoulder. You know, he's about at least half a head taller than you.
Oh, half a head isn't too bad. I suppose the throat is safer because, you know, it gives me more time to walk away, but yeah, we'll go for the throat. She's got the knife secreted, so she's just gonna, you know, be casually walking and conversing and giggling and so happy, and then she's gonna try to slit his throat open.
Okay.
Especially with his arm secured.
I'm gonna say make me a dex. Roll me your dex, not stealth. Roll me your dex legerdemain real quick.
What?
Legerdemain.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Pickpocket, secreted weapons.
Oh, I probably have that then. No, I do not.
No, just roll your dex. It's a talent, so you don't get a penalty for just using the attribute instead.
Okay. Well, that's okay, because right now my dex is 6, so... Standard diff? Pardon?
Standard diff.
That's 2 successes.
Okay, you get 2 extra dice to your attack roll.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because he was expecting you to pull out a fucking knife from your sleeve.
Well, you know... Expect the worst, hope for the best. You like that? Something poetic? Ooh, and it's a knife. Oh, 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 I love that they're such low diff. Oh, oh, makes me so
Jesus.
happy. She's a murder machine.
She really, really is.
What's the fuck is the damage for a knife? Just like +1 or something?
Just +1. So roll me your strength +1, +7 dice, because 8 successes. You literally slit his throat open. You deal a mortal strike instantaneously. And
she will be promptly, after making the swipe, loosening his arm and stepping back in an attempt to not be in the arterial spray that results. Because that does draw attention.
yeah, it literally sprays for like a brief moment. Blood is on the tent sheets. The man kind of immediately drops to his knees, like in a state of absolute shock. Coughs and splutters. Can't get a word out.
Pat him on the head and be like, shh.
He kind of gargles and coughs and spits, but he just collapses and falls and turns pale and dies.
Before he dies, Chris, may I do something real quick? Before he dies.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I'm going to use Invade the Mind to pluck the information I want out of his body. I'm looking for contacts, names, who I can talk to. Because Mina's told me a lot about this man, and I want information about him and who he talks to.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, no problem. Use Invade the Mind. Difficulty is going to be... He's a particularly withered mortal, so I'd say difficulty 4.
So what is the difficulty for... What is the roll for Invade the Mind? I cannot remember to save my life.
It's intelligence subterfuge. The success threshold, so there's a success threshold to this roll. The more successes you get,
more information to clean up, I think, or something like that.
It's not necessarily more information, it's the more personal, the more secretive, the more applicable, the more dangerous the information. So at 1 success, you'd only be reading surface thoughts. At 2 successes, you could perhaps invade a slightly personal or unpleasant experience. At 3 successes, you could acquire something something they wouldn't want you to know. At 4 and 5 successes, you're obtaining deeply personal, powerful, and relevant information.
Okay, so it is intelligence subterfuge. I will roll that.
It is.
It is intelligence subterfuge. Yes.
It is intelligence subterfuge.
Wonderful. I will give that a try.
That is the applicable bit.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Okay, so the first thing you get from this guy's his name. His name is Raheem. That name has never changed. He's always been Raheem. He used to be a farmhand. Used to be. You kind of see his life flash before his eyes as he's dying. The information you're plucking from him starts to become more difficult to discern as this is happening on a second-by-second basis.
Mm-hmm.
You see him walking in to a dying family without the coin to pay for it. You see him taking that coin by force from others deep within the city now. You see him shaking down his victims. You then see him shaking down his friends. You then see him shaking down his employers. You then see him killing his employers. You see him then taking control of his situation. You see him having his colleagues, his thugs, shaking down the one he blamed for his employer's killing. He now sees himself as the employer. He is a brother of Paul. He is one of the main officers of the Brother of Paul. People refer to him as that, or Sons of Paul. Let me check. Yeah, he is a brother of Paul. He seems to deal, he seems to have dealt largely in how to put it. He was definitely, you can tell from this, I guess to give you details of these experiences, because obviously I've been fairly vague. What it would appear is that he's definitely an organized criminal. He's part of an organization or a gang known as the Brothers of Paul. He used to be a simple farmhand, but seems to have been driven out to crime as a result of necessity. And that seems to be where his demeanor has grown rougher and less emotional and more borderline sociopathic, as he just slowly stops caring about people. He doesn't really have any attachment for you to pull from him anymore, for you to exploit. Not only is he dying, but there's just nothing left that he cares about other than his own success and survival. His life is the only thing that matters, but it's not really because it matters to him, it's because it's the only thing he really had left to him. He cares about his life because there's nothing else and no one else to care about. Everyone else is already dead.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Got a little smile, and looking around the alleyway, seeing that it's empty, he will make himself known to Mina. Just pops out of sight, right beside her.
I imagine that it's very possible that he does this while Mina is bending down, because was he wearing any sort of belt stuff? Because I might as well make this a robbery while I'm at it. Pace.
Yes.
Is he carrying anything of value?
He has a fair amount of coin on him. He has several coin purses.
And
a
now
weapon.
I have several coin purses.
And a weapon as well.
Garnet will say
Small
very
short blade.
Garnet will say very calmly, holding out the blood, has hand for the bloody knife. Give me the knife.
And she just thoughtlessly hands it over, though she turns a sharp glance around because she didn't hear him come in.
Now, leave. He'll smile. I have my own work to do. Grins.
And she just very demurely bows her head and obediently turns around and, should I pull the same trick twice? Probably. No, fuck it. She is just going to very demurely come back the way she came, and kind of hustle to her horse, not in an urgent way, but in that I forgot something important kind of way, like I gotta hurry. I'm making someone wait.
Yep.
What I will do is I'll re-obfuscate and head back to the tent to look for the right master's quarters.
Yeah. We'll go back to Margot. She's the first one to run into the ringmaster, although you'll be there within about 60 seconds.
That's fine. That's fine.
Margot, do you find the ringmaster?
Yeah, sure. Go towards him and simply do that clearing of throat. That's not it's clearly not a clearing of throat. Yes. Excuse me, I'm here.
I mean, the ringmaster sees you in your dress and walks up to you, you clearly a woman of standing.
And she'll look at her dress. It seems there was an accident in. I was watching your show. I wouldn't have expected to happen. I thought I was safe.
We do tend to get some lousy sorts within our crowd sometimes.
I was not warned. No one told me that. And she'll smile. That fire would come that close to me, and the fire that caught me was. Well, yeah, she'll say. No one told me that.
Fire.
I had a chance. Literally catching fire.
I don't recall you entering the ring. What are you referring to, madam? I do apologize sincerely.
She'll gesture to her dress.
Pardon?
She'll gesture to her dress. I was simply sitting, enjoying the show when my garments caught fire. Do you not see? As she shows how her dress is burnt.
I do see, but I don't see how this concerns me.
I was watching your show. I wouldn't have expected to catch fire. Do people catch fire in all of your shows?
Only the ones that don't make it through the hoop.
So, only the ones what?
Only the ones that don't make it through the hoop.
I quite literally came close to my death back there. I would like some kind of payment, maybe something to.
You pull the sword on you. Get the fuck out of my tent. You think you can run an extortion racket on us?
Fuck you! I'm gonna do it again.
Okay, this time it'll be harder because he feels threatened by you and is engaging in potential combat. So it'll be a plus Minimum +2 difficulty, potentially higher. Because he feels like you're trying to extort him for money, and you're a member of nobility, which only threatens him further.
Okay.
Because he knows you could actually potentially do this and get away with it, and he has no intention of allowing you to do this to him. Maybe because he's already being extorted for money.
I just roll with you. Tell me the diff.
Just make the roll, and I'll tell you if you succeed. Okay, yeah, you still managed to do it. I'm actually going to check presence here, entrancement, because... Okay. His devotion to you will be one of begrudging subservience because he is genuinely threatened by you. Because you're basically giving him an ultimatum. Which is
do that.
Your power overcomes this. Like, your power is entrancement. It does overcome this trivially. But it is one not necessarily based in, or if it is, but you realize once the effect wears off, and you don't know when the effect will wear off, he's going to be an enemy. He's going to be a problem.
So yeah, sure. Then I would like money when you dress.
I don't have it on me. I will get whatever you. He drops the sword, kind of forgetting he had a sword in his hand. Or really, it wasn't a blade. It was more like a dagger.
Yeah.
He just drops it and says, and just like kicks it away and pretend it never was there, and says, "I will get you whatever you want. Just give me time."
Money or when you dress?
Whatever you want.
I can do a tap her chin. I'd rather money. I can choose the dress myself. But you do have money. We all paid to come here.
I don't have the payments here.
Then I suggest you go get them.
He runs away. Garnet, he's about to pass you.
Perfect. I sidestep him and head from what I take a look for his quarters, actually, as I sidestep out of the way.
Yep, you can find his quarters, no problem.
And I will plant the knife there, lovingly, delicately, so only I know exactly where it'll be.
Excellent.
And once that is done, I will re-obfuscate and, well, I'll go home, darling, and visit my ghoul and tell her such wonderful things.
Yes. And, Micah, I believe your ringleader's running off. Your guard stays with you there.
Yeah, she's follows the ringleader.
He's kind of ran off.
Yes, she'll look to the to the goddess with him. Find him for me, will you? Make sure he gives me what I am owed.
Will do, madam. Stay safe out there. You sure you don't need a guard? He seems pretty clingy, like he doesn't want to let go.
I'll be fine at least till you come back. And she'll smile lovingly. Darling, that charming smile.
That was a fantastic way to convince him, and he will agree and will sadly, begrudgingly, and kind of tear himself away from you. As we end our scene there. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we will see you next time on another episode of Edessa for horse shows.